Welcome! In this video, I will offer advice for all college students. Whether you are just now preparing for your first year at school, or you're a returning student, I think you'll find the information in this video both interesting and useful. If you watch through to the end of the video, I hope you're able to find the Easter egg that I left for you. Let's get started. Students come to college with different degrees of preparation. Some of the advice that I offer in this video might seem obvious to you. That's fine, but I'll bet there will be some details that you might not have thought about. On the other hand, you may be coming to college or returning to college not having been prepared for the expectations that will be put on you. In that case, I hope this video introduces you to some bits of advice that make your college life more rewarding. In either regard, preparing for college is the first step in preparing for your adult life, which really is one of the principal functions of attending college. It's not just about learning facts. Attending college prepares you for life. The most important bit of advice that I can offer to any college student is to plan, to create a schedule that works for that student. So I'm speaking to you right now. So I'm advising you to create a schedule that works for you. Identify when each assignment is due, when each activity will need to be completed. Mark it on your schedule. I prefer to use digital calendars, such ones that will work on my smartphone, my computer, and my tablet. Whichever device I have at hand, I can see my calendar. Other students like to use paper calendars of one type or another, maybe in their paper notebook or as a wall hanging. All of these calendars can work so long as you keep them up to date and you have ready access to them wherever you are, which is quite honestly the biggest limitation of a wall calendar. It's only going to be hanging in your room. You're not going to have it with you when you're out and about. The first activity of each day that you'll be responsible for is to get up. I can't emphasize how important it is to wake up as early as possible and get started with your day. If you don't have early morning classes, then use that morning time for study. But get moving on your day. Lounging around in bed will do you no good for your academic performance. Okay, if you're under the weather, it will help you recover. But if you're in fit physical shape, get up, get moving, start doing things. In the morning, leave sufficient time to prepare yourself for the day. And by that, I mean all the personal things that we each do to get ourselves ready to go out. Don't rush the morning routine. Wake up early enough so you have time to do all of your morning routine. And then make sure you've scheduled the time it's going to take you to transit to your first class or your first meeting or whatever your first engagement is. If you're a residential student, you may not have to drive to class, but you do have to walk or take the trolley or the people mover or whatever. You have to physically get to class, and that will take time. Make sure that travel time is accounted for in your schedule. Having an 8 a.m. class and leaving your dormitory at 7:55, even though you've got a 10-minute walk, is going to make you late for class. And being late for class is never acceptable. When creating your schedule, balance your requirements so that difficult courses fall on multiple days throughout the week. Don't drop all of your hard classes on Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays. Spread them out a little bit, Monday through Friday. When you're given an assignment, get moving on it that day. No fooling around. Start the assignment while the description of the assignment is still fresh in your mind. And don't forget to schedule time for fun. It's okay to have a standing calendar appointment for every Friday from 7 until 10 in the evening. It's movie night or whatever you like to do. Go ahead. Put it on your calendar so that you know that that time block is reserved and you won't think in the back of your mind, oh, well, if I put off studying now, I can do it Friday night at 7 o'clock. You can't do that if you're also planning on pizza and movies Friday night. I have already created a video entitled, What is a Professor? And I encourage you to watch that video. Unlike high school teachers, professors are not evaluated based on how well students do in the courses. It may sound counterintuitive, but we're not. Most high school teachers are evaluated on how many of their students they can prepare to be graduated from high school. That's not true for college professors. We're expected to create an environment in which a young adult can learn the material to an appropriate level, but it's the student's responsibility to learn the material and to demonstrate sufficient competence. Whether a student passes my course or fails my course does not affect my evaluation within my department. And most of my colleagues grade fairly, evaluate specifically, offer feedback to students, and then when it comes time to converting numerically earned grades to letter grades for recording on the transcript, most of my colleagues do not round to the nearest integer. So, for example, a student in my class who earns an 89.95%, I would record as a grade of B+, because the grade of 90 is the minimum for the earning of an A-. And you can say that that's just a hair's breadth difference, but it's the student who is responsible for their performance. It's not the professor's responsibility to make sure students pass. It's our responsibility to make sure students have a fair and equitable and appropriate learning opportunity. And whether the students choose to accept their own responsibilities or not, the end result is on the students, not the professors. Which also means most of my colleagues and I, we don't nag students about upcoming assignments. It's written in the syllabus. If a student doesn't read the syllabus and submit an assignment on time, well, the submission is late. And in general, in my class, I'll accept late assignments up to maybe a day or two late, but I'll deduct 10% from the grade for each day that it's late. After that, the grade for the assignment goes to 0. Unless, of course, the student has made prior arrangements Uh, Sometimes I've had students who have had significant medical procedures, or in the last few years, got very sick with COVID-19. For those students, sure, I'll help them out and give them some extra time to submit their work. But I still don't nag students about upcoming assignments. Read the syllabus is what I expect. So, within this context of students demonstrating their own responsibility for their self management, college is preparation for the rest of life. Attending college should create an educated, or a student attending college should be graduated as an educated citizen. That student should be developing self reliance and independence. Now, remember, this is very different than the behaviors expected of a high school student. College students are expected to be responsible for themselves, to make good choices, to budget their time in an appropriate manner, and to complete their work as required. Many of the courses that you are required to take at school may not seem important, or you may not see the value in taking those courses. Here, I'm asking you to trust your professors. Your professors have created assignments within each course and created whole courses within a sequence of courses so as to best prepare students to complete the overall degree requirements. Attending an American college requires studying more than just subjects within the major discipline. So, for example, a computer science student is also going to be required to take a number of humanities courses, maybe a class in early cultural studies or in British literature or, I don't know, music appreciation. That computer science student may not understand at the moment why those other courses are required. It's only after graduation, it's sometimes many years later, that when we look back on our college years, that we see value in those courses that helped us to be a more broadly educated citizen. So I'm going to ask you to trust your professors. They know what they're doing when they create courses, and they know which courses fit well together into a sequence. When things are not going smoothly for you, it's okay to ask for help. So, here's some general advice. Arrive early to every class meeting, in particular the first class meeting of each semester. Sit in the front row. I can tell you from experience, I and I don't know if this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I hope not. But the students who sit in the front row in my classes are much more likely to earn A's than the students who sit in the last few rows of the classroom. In fact, the students who sit in the front row of the classroom are much more likely to pass the course than the students in the back few rows. So sit up front, pay attention to what's being said, use your proximity to the professor to encourage you to stay focused on the material during each class session. Ask questions during class. If there's anything that you didn't understand from the required reading that you do before you attend a class, and you were not able to find resolution to your questions through personal research, pose questions during class. Allow your professor the opportunity to both, one, answer your question for you, and two, answer your question for other students. Because if the question's in your mind, it's very likely a similar question is in multiple other students' minds. Take advantage of any study sessions that the professor or the teaching assistant schedules. Get to know your librarians. Other than your academic counselor on campus, the librarians are your best friends. Their sole job is to help you in your scholarship. And they like doing research activities. Go ahead, ask them for help. Sometimes the librarians get really happy. They get very excited when a student comes in with a particularly challenging research question, because that's what librarians like doing. One, they like helping students, and two, they like a really good academic puzzle. Go ahead, give it to them. If you need specialized help while you're on campus, take advantage of your academic support services. At most universities, you can get tutoring assistance, specialized help in some disciplines, writing and editing, proofreading support, and the tutors that work in the Student Support Center took those jobs because they like helping students. Often they are retired professors, or sometimes they are young doctoral students who are preparing to be professors. Go ahead. These are experts. Take advantage of them when you need a little bit of extra help. Now, the next few slides address the general topic of personal management. And here's where some of these details might seem either familiar to you or obvious, but I'm going to address them anyway. When it comes to choosing a meal plan for a residential student, buy as many meals as you will eat, but no more. If you have special dietary needs that require you to prepare some of your meals yourself, then cut those meals out of the meal plan and instead save some money to buy your ingredients at the grocery store. Be very, very careful of how many calories you consume versus how much physical activity you're creating while on campus. The freshman 15 is a real thing, and often it's not just an extra 15 pounds. It might be an extra 20 or 25 or even 30 pounds. It is very easy to put on extra weight while eating in a college dining hall because there really is no portion control. Often you can eat as much as you want. You pay a one-time fee to enter for the meal, and then you can eat all that you want. Now, if you're burning off all those calories, go ahead, eat, get your money's worth. But if you're not burning off the calories, be really careful what you eat and how much you eat. A good-sized salad can often fill you up without adding a lot of extra calories to your meal. If you're a dormitory student, if you're a residential student, and you have an RA, a resident assistant, get to know your RA. Let your RA know who you are, what your particular needs are, what your preferences are. The job of the RA is primarily to keep you safe. But secondarily, the RA serves as a dormitory assistant to all manner of emotional and physical challenges that arise during dormitory living. Get to know the RA and take advantage of their skills. If you share a room with one or two or three other students, respect your roommates' personal space and personal time. If they have a different chronologic schedule than you do, don't be waking them up when they need to be sleeping and expect them to treat your schedule the same. Learn to embrace communal living. Communal living can be really enjoyable. Whether you're living on a dormitory hall or you're living in apartments, have fun living with other people. It can be enjoyable. Learn to share kitchen responsibilities, cleaning responsibilities, shopping responsibilities. And then, particularly for students that are living in a dormitory, either attend or be responsible to organize fun activities such as movie nights, and be responsible to get the popcorn or to go rent the DVD or to set up the projector for a streaming service. You don't have to do it every week, but if you do it once, someone else might jump in the next week and say, hey, I'll do it next week. And then someone else on the week after that. Get the ball rolling and enjoy the company of the people within your dormitory. Now, again, I'm speaking primarily to residential students. You may not have had significant laundry responsibilities prior to moving to campus. So, I'm going to teach you just a few of the rules about doing laundry. 1, in a public laundromat, including the washers and dryers that are located within a dormitory, never leave your laundry unattended. You will find your clothes missing when you come back for them. Now, not every time, but it's fairly common for clothes to go awry. When adding detergent to the washer, a capful or less is more than enough for a full load. Don't use too much laundry detergent. What advice do you have that you would like to share with other students? What did you not expect to have learned during your first few years at college? Please leave your comments below and offer advice to other students so that we can create a dialogue that helps everyone. I hope you found the information in this video to be both interesting and useful. If you have a suggestion for content that you would like me to address in a future video, please leave me a comment below this video. Also, if you have a question for me, leave it in a comment and I'll do my best to answer it quickly. Until we meet again in a future video, I wish you the absolute best in all of your academic work, and I hope you really enjoy being a college student. Bye for now. Mika, what a nice dog you are. You're so good. You like laying down, don't you? Did you find that video interesting? Yeah, maybe not as interesting as a rub. And you even like to have your paws and your shins rubbed. You're a great dog, you know that? I just love you so much. Good girl.